Well, good morning, childrens. Welcome back to another Red Boy Vlogcast. Today's gonna be a little different. We're doing a product review. That's right. We're reviewing the Insta360 1R Aerial Edition. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, I know. So the idea behind this is you can put your 360 1R camera on your drone and make it invisible. They call it the invisible drone, I guess. So it comes in all these boxes. So you've got lenses, battery, send me an extra battery. The battery they actually use when it's on the drone, which is a different battery. The actual module, the other battery, and this big old box contains the mount. What it boils down to though is this. So you end up with your camera and your mount. Camera's two pieces. It's battery and then it comes apart from there. You end up with the module and two lenses. So this is the mount. It's really pretty straightforward. This clamps on the bottom, this clamps on top, and then this little doohickey goes on the back. I can close her up later. But anyway, this has all the connections to make this work. So that's really all there is to it. You can't put the lenses on the wrong way. They have little notches, and that's how it clamps on. This is not a demonstration video of how to put it together. It's pretty straightforward. But here's where a couple of my beefs come in, before we even get to the video part. The lenses obviously sit lower, so the second you set this down, you're going to scratch your lenses. It does come with these lens cover things. I don't use them. It's even another box you have to check in the software to tell it when you're stitching that it has these on there. I haven't used them. But one hack I did see from somebody else is if you fold your Mavic arms like that and you set it down, now your lens is safe. So I don't know, it's probably hard on my motors and my props, who knows what else, but I don't use it all the time, so it's not a big deal. So that's one trick to keep your lens away from the glass. The other thing is, your GPS really doesn't work when you have this on because all this crap's up top. P.S. Put your battery in first because you're not getting your battery off once it's in there. But you do have a button spot that you can turn on. So props there, I guess. The other thing is you will probably have to hand launch this. There are some people who put boxes on each side, you know, like this, and then you can take off. It better land really well too, I guess, but that's an option for that. So keep those things in mind. They're not big deals. Just be sure you start the camera. Pro tip. Be sure you start the camera before you start the props, because I had it flying and didn't start the camera and brought it down into a hover and thought, oh, maybe I can squeeze my finger in there. No, the prop is way too close to get your finger in once it's turning. So don't do that, kids. Down to my beef about the construction. Somebody said this is 3D printed. Maybe. It's not 3D printing that I've seen before. It's pretty smooth. But it's fragile. It is super fragile plastic. So I'll get a couple close-ups, but there's a clip on the top when you mount it, and there's clips on the bottom, both of which make it a little more difficult to get off. And both of which I've cracked, the bottom ones and the top ones, and not even like just putting it on normal. So I reached out to Insta360 support. After a few back and forths, they did offer to send me a new housing and encouraged me to put it on properly next time. I'm pretty sure I was put on properly to begin with, but if you do get this, be very careful because the plastic is super fragile. So I took it out for a flight, got very excited, got it all together, charged up, took it out. Now this was on the original props and on a fairly windy day. Don't know if that should make a difference, but as you can see by the footage, it is super jello-y. Almost, and granted it's a football field, so it's kind of easier to see because you have the lines, but it's very jello-y, borderline unusable, and you can even see a stitching line where I think the exposure was off just a little bit between the top camera and the bottom camera, so it can't stitch that perfect. So it wasn't terribly happy. It wasn't usable in my opinion, for anything I'd do to get paid for anyway. So I came back home And anybody who's been around drones for a while, the DJI Phantom 1 had just a hard mount, and that's the problem with this, is it's all hard mounted. There's no dampening of any vibration. We use a stuff called moon gel. So moon gel is just kind of this blue, purple, squishy stuff. I don't know what they're used by drummers. I don't know what they use it for. So I thought, well, maybe if I use some of this, maybe I can dampen some of that vibration, fix the problem. Other people said use an ND filter, lower the shutter speed. All you're doing is kind of faking out the jello effect. You're kind of blurring it a little bit. You're not really getting rid of it necessarily. So I shoved a bunch of this jello. I couldn't get it under the actual lenses. It's way too tight. Put a bunch of moon gel in there to see if that would help. Went on to another flight. As you can see again, lots of jello. Again, though, it was a windy day. So I don't know if wind should make a difference, but it possibly could. So today's project, I'm going to go out and get some footage, and I'm doing two things. One, we're going to fly this. I don't think it's very windy today. Fly this as it's built with its cage. But also, I have this unit. This is a for DJI Mavic. Clamps on the bottom of the drone and then hangs a 360 camera down below. I think I got it from my Theta, which didn't really work very well, to be honest. So it doesn't fit exactly because the clamps in the back, but it does work well enough that I was able to zip tie it on, fairly secure. So we're going to try it with this device as well as the way it's built, and we're going to see if we get any better results. I've also replaced the props because balancing your props could be an issue, potentially. I mean, that could cause vibrations. So I'm giving it every chance I can and see which one works out the best. So we'll be right back. First up, the factory included mount. Let's see how this works. Option 2, we have this mount zip tied on because it doesn't really fit. And the camera just hangs below. Obviously you're not going to get the invisible drone thing with this, but we're trying to get rid of the jello here, so let's see how this works. So here is the clip of the Insta360 one arm using my old school mount that was for like a different camera, hanging down under the drone like so. This is the footage. I actually watched a decent amount of it because I couldn't see. I was looking for any kind of jello, and you can see some imperfections in it, I suppose. But I think you probably clean most of that up with the it's a remove jello effect or something. There's something in Adobe Premiere that can do it. Now let's look at the factory mod. Again, this is new props, factory mod. You don't have to watch but about 2 seconds of it to see the jello like crazy. Same drone, same props, same weather, same day, same everything. Now one could argue, well, because I have these couple broken spots, well, that increased the vibration. But when you look back at the other footage, you see the same problem. So I don't think it's made any difference whatsoever. So long story short, is the mod ready for prime time? No. I personally don't think I would get it. Now, if you want to do 360 though, and you can, I'll try and link to one below, but you can get these kind of things to hang on the bottom of the drone. The camera works great. There's no problem with the camera itself. It's a good 360 camera. I'm not going to do a ton of 360, so it doesn't need to be perfect. But whether the extra money for the 360 mod, invisible drone thing, you can look at the footage and be your own judge, but I'd say skip it for now. That's it for me. I'm Red Boy, from the Red Boy Vlogcast, and I'm out.